Yeah, it's time to empower, educate, and encourage your women to motivate you through whatever you've been going through. We can talk about it. We ain't passing no judgment. So don't be ashamed. It's all the same. Stay in your lane. Your lane. It's whatever you're feeling. Stay in your lane. Come on, and don't be ashamed. Right. Let's have a conversation on what we face every day. Tune into your late talk show. It makes us feel good just to know we're not alone. No more being isolated against the side. I want you to come out the dark. Just don't be afraid of your heart. So don't be ashamed. It's all the same. Stay in your lane. Your lane. It's whatever you're feeling. It's like stay in your lane. Come out the dark and don't be ashamed. Your lane. Let's have a conversation on what we face every day. It's your Late Talk Show with Coach Trish.
I like to have a little last piece, that's why. Hello. Welcome everyone to your Lane Talk Show with your coach Trish Anna, broadcasting live from the beautiful Nassau, Bahamas. How's the weather? Change. Listen, the weather's changed, and I noticed that on my Facebook page, a lot of people are saying, "Child, y'all better not come out with no snow boots, and y'all better not come up with no big tip." Listen, wear your TNT up. You spend money on that, you wear it. If you see the wind go put your snow boots on, go put your jacket on, your freezer coat, go wear it, because I wearing it. All right, too bad for them, but don't come out with it. Listen, stop hating. All right, you want to wait till you go to Minnesota and them to wear yours, that's up to you. But if I spend a $2 on my suit and my coat and thing, I wearing it. Right,
all my clothes.
All my clothes.
All my clothes.
Y'all can see every winter suit. I can be dressed right up. Every boot, the fluffy ones with the extra puff, I wearing them because the wind gone. Yeah. All right. Let me tell y'all, your Lane Talk Show was created for those who are listening and watching for the first time to educate, encourage, and empower women of all ages. That's all. That's all the show was. It's not for me. I could care less. I'm just here as a conduit. If by chance God says, "Hey, I want to continue on with this show, but I want you somewhere else," it doesn't matter. All I know is that this is what this is for, and I'm here doing it. And so I get my reward from him because of obedience. And I'm encouraging those who, I don't know why I'm doing it. I have to come here just for 2 seconds. I'm encouraging those who God has placed something on their hearts, right? And you're afraid. You're afraid because you don't know how it's going to turn out. You don't know if you have the finances. You don't know how people are going to think. You don't know if you're going to have the support. Just go and do it. Be like Nike, all right? I promise you, I am a year and 5 months in. A year and 5 months in, and it's only been by the grace of God. When I tell you shows have been prearranged and set aside, I have my shows already planned up until December. All right, people coming in, sponsors coming in. We'll always want more sponsors. Hey, all right, coming in to support. This is God's doing, and it is marvelous. I am a living example. All right, and there's so many others out there who can attest of God's goodness when you say yes. That's all you have to do. All you have to do is say yes, put your faith in action, and watch God do the rest. He will provide for you. I promise you that. All right. Let's get into today's show. Now, last week we had a blast. We had with us Sherilyn Ross, who spoke about the dangers of Halloween. If you want to watch that, you can go to YouTube, Coach Trish Hannah, episode 74, the spiritual implications of Halloween. I am hoping that you make the conscious decision to listen to the show before you say yes to those Halloween parties this week, please. Okay, I'm not forcing you to do anything. I'm just saying, hey, let's get the knowledge first, and then you make a decision after. It is through knowledge that the just be delivered. We perish because we lack knowledge. Here it is on this show. We provide the knowledge. Whatever else happens after that is up to you. Now I need y'all to come out and share. Go use your fingers. Go and tag a person. Get this page. Put it on your page. Let's make this happen. Because we have the dynamic duo back and ready. I mean, they so ready. They charged up, ready to go. They can tell you themselves that people have been reaching out to them saying how marvelous they were on the last time that they were here. They were here on episode 72. So for those who are watching once again for the first time, you didn't know, you didn't watch this episode 72, put that on your to-do list for today after the show. Okay, you watch episode 72, and for those who have watched episode 72, this is gonna be harder than 72. That's what they tell me. All right, so we are ready to roll. On the last episode, they discussed when they first got diagnosed with breast cancer and a little part of their journey. And so if you know someone who is presently battling breast cancer, who have overcome, or someone who just needs some inspiration, please, and encouragement, please, I ask you to ask them to tune in to Star 106.5 FM dial or channel 976 on cable, or log on to Facebook on Your Lane Life Coaching Facebook page. You will get to see their beautiful faces. All right, I'm excited about today's show only because this is part two, and I know whatever they didn't get to talk about last time, they talking about it today. So listen, y'all better be ready. Be ready. And I told them, I said, listen, y'all be open and let the people know. It don't make no sense. They going through this by themselves and nobody is telling them anything. Let them know about the insurance companies. Yeah, I said it. Let them know about them doctors who trying to take your money. Not all of them. Not all of them do that. You have some really good doctors out there. Salute. And I kudos to the good doctors, but then you have the ones who, just like any other profession, only want your money. All right, we be calling y'all out today. My predictions for this episode: 85% aha moments, 5% teardrops, and 10% laughter. And that's only because I have them with me because they funny. All right. You're in episode 75, Radiant Resilience, Thriving Beyond Breast Cancer Part 2. It was that good. It's brought to you by Airborne Freight and Cargo Services, John Shoe Store and Accessories, Your Lane Life Coaching, Bahama Odds and Ends Party Supplies, Neutrogena, distributed by Lowe's Wholesale, National Workers Cooperative Credit Union, and John's Care Wear. So let me tell y'all, John's Care Wear is off the chain. If you're looking for a wide selection of scrubs, lab coats, med accessories, and chef wear, head on down to John's Care Wear. John's Care Wear has two convenient locations to serve you: Rosetta Street, right opposite John's Shoe Store, and Carmichael Road in the John's building. This month, they are giving you an opportunity to win a free mammogram at Fort Terrace Diagnostic Center on Your Lane Talk Show. Yeah, this show. All right. I want, I would say, the third person to text this number 376-8689. That's 376-8689, and say, I want to get tested. That's it. I want to get tested. That mammogram would be yours. All right. Courtesy of John's Care Wear. All right. Lowe's Wholesale, Neutrogena celebrates all breast cancer survivors this October. To know your body is to love your body, they say. We stand with you and we honor you and your fight. Head to any of the Lowe's Wholesale pharmacies for your Neutrogena products and support breast cancer survivors with Neutrogena. The love, the love, the love. All right, so we have with us in studio Dr. Gillian Curry Williams. Of course, I'm going to let her say a little bit about herself, only because we have new listeners that may not have listened to the last show that we had. And then we have Marissa Maycock. She's also going to share a little bit about herself. Not too long now, y'all. Y'all have so much. Listen, if I were to ask for a bio, it would be for 10 years for me to finish reading about them, because they've done so much. They've done so much. So, ladies, welcome. Should I say welcome again? Because when you're there the second time, that means you're part of the show.
You home.
You're home. All right? Y'all reach.
You can tell us hi.
Huh?
You say hi.
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 Hi, y'all. Hi, y'all. No, really. Welcome back. I'm so grateful to have you back on Your Lane Talk Show. How y'all doing?
I'm doing good.
Good.
I'm doing great.
Y'all look great. Y'all
Thank
look
you.
really great.
Thank you. You look great as well.
Say that again. I can't.
You look great.
I'm kidding. Thank you. Tell the audience, for those who may not know who you are, which I'm most certain they do, a little bit about yourself, and then a little bit about, why you are here today.
Okay, so I'll go. I can see.
Mhm.
I'm Marissa Maycock. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm an administrator at United Faith Ministries International. Shout out to RUF and my family, especially Apostle Farman and Elder
Hey.
Sophia Ferguson. God bless you, and indeed everyone else. But I'm a child of the King. I think that's as short as we could get. I'm a
I love
child of
it.
the King. I love God, and I know He loves me, and I'm blessed just to be His daughter. I want to say I'm a favorite child, and
Oh,
I am yes. I'm a
You
favorite.
also want to look wicked
I
because
am
it's not that she's a
favored.
favorite. Okay.
I'm
You
a
want
favored.
but you want the favorites.
I'm
Okay.
yeah. I don't want to get in trouble
Oh,
because I know my mom likes to say she's God's favorite child, but I'm a favored. I'm a favorite child,
mhm.
and I am a breast cancer conqueror.
Amen.
Yes.
Conqueror. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Dr. Jill.
so I am Gillian Curry Williams. I'm a mother, a wife, a grandmother, an entrepreneur. And I, like Marissa, I am a child of God.
Yes.
I am his most favorite child, his most favorite
Y'all need to
daughter.
stop, Y'all need to stop.
And I live on my slogan that I've been on, I think, for a year, almost a year now, that I trust and believe God.
Yes.
Yes.
I am also, I've also had cancer because I don't have it anymore. So I have had cancer. Um, and that is me.
Wow. Yeah. So we're starting off from where we left off because we don't have time to go back to what all was said once again for those who did not watch the first episode. That would be on YouTube, episode 72. Okay, so you can go ahead and watch that at your leisure, but we're moving on from the questions that we didn't cover the last time. Now we know that breast cancer treatments can be physically demanding, right? What are some of the treatments that typically occur on the road to recovery? I want you to walk us through that process. So from the moment they say you've been diagnosed with this, what happens next?
Well, from the moment I was diagnosed, the doctor wanted to do a biopsy. I opted out of that biopsy because I had my own little thing going on because, yeah, I did my
Yeah.
research.
Yeah.
And I opted to have the lumpectomy. So I had that.
Tell us what is a lumpectomy?
Lumpectomy is when they take out the lump.
Mhm.
And how the lump was, it was safe to take it out.
Mhm.
I'm happy I opted for that because I had the lumpectomy in April, but I didn't have my surgery until August.
Mm.
And kinds of things could have happened between April and
Yeah.
August as far as spreading and all that. So I
Mhm.
was happy I made that decision. Once it came back and he said it was cancer, like my thing was, I have the surgery, but I have reconstruction. But of course, the Holy Spirit checked me on that, and there was no reconstruction. The surgery was set up. I saw a doctor away, who I was more comfortable with doing what I wanted done because I chose the aesthetic flat closure, which is a clean, smooth chest. And if I could just put a plug in there, you could hardly see my scar at all. And I had my surgery done. She didn't need to have a plastic surgeon with her to carry this out, like I was being told here that I would need a plastic surgeon to be with the surgical oncologist if I wanted it done properly. And that was not, she didn't require that. She did it as a surgical oncologist on her own. She carried out the surgery, and I was pleased when I wasn't even afraid because some women have written in this Facebook group that I'm in, and they were like, I'm so afraid to look at it. I don't want to see it. How's it going to look? Y'all, please tell me your reaction or whatever. And I often tell them, like, I wasn't afraid because I knew that I was obedient to what God had told me to do. And I knew that, like I was telling the doctors here and another doctor I saw somewhere else before I chose the doctor that I went with, that it wasn't a matter of vanity.
Mm-hmm.
It was a matter of dignity
Yeah.
because you had to look at yourself at the end of the
And it's
day.
all said and done.
It's like a shock for some
Yeah.
when you looking at it for the first time, or when you're in hospital and they release you and you go home and then you have to look at this thing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a matter of dignity in doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've sewn long enough and sewn for sufficient women who have had cancer, who've had a breast taken off, to see how some of the work, and I don't think I could put it any plainer than this, was botched.
Wow.
Seriously, like this was some meat, and I don't care how I put it back together. I just do it any kind of how, and it heals bad, and yeah. So I was quite pleased when she showed it to me, and I was fine looking at it myself once I was released from hospital. So that was the surgical part of my journey.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, so okay, so let me just let Melissa say something, and then because I want to know like what was going on physically with you and all of that during that process.
Okay, so for me, my journey was a little different. And in getting the diagnosis would have come, of course, after the biopsy was done. As we said in the last show, they did not give me the option of doing the lumpectomy. Uh, and it was because, I guess, based on the mammogram that was done, there were no clear margins. So once the diagnosis was handed down, or came back, I should say, once the diagnosis came back, one of the first things that I did was I had to make an appointment with oncology. So this journey would be for the person who may not have insurance, and you're trying to figure out how to handle healthcare, navigate healthcare here in the Bahamas without insurance. So my primary care physician gave me the referral, and I went over. They told me to go over right away to oncology and get the appointment. That didn't take long, based upon the diagnosis. So once they saw what it was, they got me in the very next week. And the first team I met with was the surgical oncologist team. And the reason that they did it that way was because they wanted to ensure that I was able to get on the books to go and have the port in. So for those who would have to do like your pre-surgery measures to try to shrink the tumor, address the cancer before you get to surgery, they would want to do a port, which is the way that they will feed the chemo in. So the port goes in, there's a line that goes down up through the heart, comes back out, and it feeds into wherever it needs to go.
So when this
Feeds
is
into the
happening,
bloodstream.
are you conscious of what's happening, or they put you to sleep? What's happening now?
I was conscious. I was conscious. So I was
Watching
not.
the thing happen, or what you doing? Reading the
Well,
book?
no, I'm no. So you're on it. So you're in the operating room. You're lying flat on your back because they will put the port opposite the cancer side. That's what they did. So I was affected in the right breast. So the port went in my clavicle on the left side. Right below the clavicle on the left side. So I'm awake. They numb the area with a local anesthetic. I could hear the drilling. I could hear the screwing. I could, hear the doctor's conversations. I could see the medical team walking around doing whatever they need to do. But because it's right here, I can't look down and say, yeah. And so they keep your head at a certain angle so that they can work free and do whatever it is that they need to do. So that was the first step. It didn't take, I think, more than about an hour or so, hour and a half or whatever. So that was that process. And then you see your medical oncologist, and they try to get an understanding of how do they arrive at the diagnosis. Because now you're going into another healthcare system to navigate your journey, they need to know as much information as they can. Okay. I did my first PET scan. The PET scan was what allowed them to to determine the staging and to determine if it had spread or where it had spread and all this kind of stuff. I did some CT scans before ever getting to the chest scan, the PET scan. So I got that done. They could verify that, hey, it is cancer. This thing has metastasized, but we can't see what all is involved because the PET scan is just a little bit more detailed than the CT is. So I went through and I did all that. They came back with the late stage 3. We're borderline heading into stage 4. It had already metastasized, infiltrated a lot.
Pause.
Hmm.
Can you remind the listeners, or for those who are watching and listening for the first time, how you complained about your breast? I think you said it was hurting, or
Yeah, it was in pain. There
pain.
was actually blood
And
discharge
that was
from
like
the
what, 3
breast
years prior to you being diagnosed.
on the 2018. So that would have been 2018. Yes,
And so when
2018.
you told this doctor, who I hope you don't have anymore as your doctor, right? Yeah, I going there. That you were going through something, you have pain in your breast, it's discharging blood. They they tell you it's okay, never order that. What did they say?
And I will pause here and say this, that if you are experiencing a lump in the breast and you do have it looked at and they give you a diagnosis, I was informed by a medical personnel never to take a diagnosis without a biopsy. I did not know that. I relied on the expertise, because I'm coming to you as a healthcare professional and you give me what your opinion is. And
professional enough to think this is what it is.
Right. And so, but in seeing another healthcare practitioner for another matter, because there was some lymph nodes underneath my breastbone that they could not get to. The surgery that they would have performed to reach those lymph nodes was similar to an open heart surgery. And that just wasn't necessary. They didn't want to take that route because it would be very invasive. But it was messing with my vocal cords because apparently there's some nerve that goes down in and taps on these same nodes. So it was messing with my vocal cords and causing me to constantly be hoarse. But in seeing her, she said to me, don't you ever accept a diagnosis without them doing the testing so that things don't get missed.
Hope y'all taking notes.
Okay.
Take notes.
So like I said before, just playing being naive probably, and just wanting to accept that, okay, this is good news. It's not cancerous. This is good news. Right. So they were diagnosing me with fibroadenomas. Okay. That's what every sheet of paperwork said between 2015 and 2018, fibroadenoma.
Let's talk about because we spoke a little bit about the mental. Let's talk about the physical. So let's fast forward to the last procedure for you, Dr. Joe. What was the last thing that took place, and how were you feeling during that experience, and after that experience?
My last procedure would have been my surgery. They sent everything off to the lab, and when they sent everything off to the lab, I fasted. I went on a fast because I told God.
Are we recommending this? No, you have to be spirit led. Okay, but go ahead.
I told God, everything has to come back clear, clean. I didn't want no chemo, no radiation, no.
So you never got any of that.
I went on a fast. I went on a fast because we like to give the enemy a lot of
too much credit,
clout and credit. We say, oh, the enemy. I can say, and some of you may not like it because some of you religious folks may not like it, but this was God. Just like how who wrestled?
Jacob.
Just like how Jacob wrestled, and ended up with a limp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
That's
had
it.
my wrestling and ended up with 2 breasts off, but he knew he could trust me with taking those 2 breasts off. He knew that I wouldn't be ashamed and I wouldn't hide and I wouldn't try to get no bra and put no thing in it. And no, I still want to feel feminine. So I do wear flat chested camisoles that are laced.
Mm-hmm.
I do that, but I ain't putting nothing in them. No, I'm not. The most I can do is put on a shoulder pad, and that's in my shoulders, not in my chest. But he knew he could trust me. So I went on a fast, and yeah, they were like, "You fasting and you supposed to be taking pills." I fasted. I'm sorry because I know what I need done. I know how I want this thing to come back, and God can't put me through this and put me through. No,
Y'all know that's a serious
because
level of
I'm
faith,
his
right?
favorite daughter.
When your
We're
faith
gonna
get that
wrestle
high,
over this favorite.
listen,
We
we ain't
gonna
fighting today
wrestle.
with that. We talking about her faith right now because I could fight on that for a little while. We ain't gonna do that. Her faith, her faith.
Yeah.
You think God could just turn his head away, his eyes away because of his daughter, who's putting him to his word, testing his word.
3 days.
He fasted for 3 days.
3 days. And when I went to the doctor, she was like, this was a new doctor I had to go to for this particular thing to get the results back and stuff. And she looked at it and then she looked at me and she looked at it and looked at me. And I said, okay, God, because I was praying while I was going, I was praying while I was driving, I was praying while I was walking in that road, like, oh God. This lady come in and she do all her stuff they do beforehand because they're very methodical.
Yeah.
They don't just like, how you see some doctors here, they don't operate. They are very methodical in what they do. Everything is precept upon precept,
Thorough.
line upon line. Everything is thorough. And the nurse that came in before and she did everything. And then she said, the doctor will be in shortly. And the doctor came in and she says, because this is going to have to happen. And this was she saying, the nurse. And I said, oh God, like I didn't fast. Like, no, this ain't no. Like, no. And when she came in and she said, no radiation, no chemo. I was like, God, I thank you. Like, God,
I believe
thank
God.
you.
Hashtag
I
trust
and believe God.
and believe God.
All
Hashtag
day,
I trust and
every
believe
day.
God. All
Every
day,
every day.
because this is now we're not, ain't nobody gonna come around me talking about y'all here on your lane talk show. I supposed to be fasting while I do. Listen, that's between you and Holy Spirit. That's
That's
on
right.
y'all. All right,
Yeah.
that's on y'all. All right, but moving on. So the physical, after all of that, after the procedure, what was going on as we were healing during that process?
Well, 2 days after, no, I lie. After we finished the fast, out 3 days. So the 4th day, my daughter's like, okay, mommy, we got to go out. You got to walk. So the 4th day, put on clothes.
No,
I still had
supposed
to
be in bed.
No, I still had the drains in. So we got some safety pins and pinned it. I wore a dress that had a yoke. So I pinned the tubes up to the yoke. So they were up out of the way. And I put on a
Hold on, you wouldn't think of that because you ain't no seamstress. You wouldn't think that with the pinning up and fixing up and the yoke.
But
and
see,
thing.
the thing is,
'Cause, you know, and I know she
But
do
the
it
thing-
nice, and
but-
she dressed elegantly. I'm
thanks.
sure.
Now, see, I didn't do the elegant part.
Yeah.
I didn't do the elegant part. But I, prior to having the surgery done, because my surgery didn't come till almost a year later. Prior to having the surgery done, once they told me that, okay, you're scheduled for a double modified radical mastectomy, I started looking up exactly what that meant and what you would have to do and some of the things that you would need and all that kind of thing. So I saw the safety pin thing. So when I would have to move around, my mom, she actually safety pin me. I ain't tell you it was elegant because it wasn't elegant. No. It was just pinned.
But this one, she done sew that up and make sure nice. And probably had a bow and tie that anyway. Go ahead.
Man.
Just a pin. And so we went to the mall. We didn't go shopping. We just walked. We went to an indoor mall and we just walked around just for me to get my strength back. And I think a week later, I got my drains out. And then I went up to my son. And when I got to I had my surgery in August. And when I got to my son, it would have been, I think, the first week in September. And by the 3rd week in September, I was doing a hike with him and his friends.
Not the lady who just came from surgery.
Yeah, that
I
one.
was doing
That
a
one.
hike,
That one.
and I
That
told
one.
him, I remember it was my mother's birthday. Actually, it was September 24th last year because they had something at our house, and they did a video thing, and I said, "Boy, this is me and your secret. We can't tell us nobody
No,
because."
you can't go. You just reach. You just come off the people. Gee, you just had surgery, and you acting like ain't nothing happened.
See, being in the group that I was in prepared me so much.
Wow.
I was so thankful to the doctor for even letting me know because it prepared me mentally and I prepared my body physically for it because there were so many of them who went through different things. I said, they're like, oh, you're gonna have what they call a steel chest. Steel something, you get this pain in your chest, you're gonna have this, and you're gonna have this pain, and you're gonna have that pain. I was like, everything I was reading, they were saying, I was rebuking and saying, God, it shall not happen to me. It shall not happen to me. It shall not happen to me. And one night I did have a pain. I thought my end had come.
Wow.
For real. I had this pain. I was like, oh God, this is what they talk about.
Yeah.
Jesus, Lord. And I started pleading the blood.
Mm-hmm.
And 5 minutes later, that pain was gone, and I've never had it back anymore. So all the things that they said happened, like I said, once I read it, I rebuked it, and it shall not happen to me. It shall not come nigh my. It shall not happen to me. It shall not happen to my body. Like
Y'all taking notes?
Yeah.
We're gonna take a break so y'all give y'all time to go gather up your notes because it's a lot. Even while they're speaking, it's so much. It's so much, especially in this month where, I don't want to say it like this, but I'm certain 1 out of 10, 20 women would have gotten diagnosed in this month, right?
Yes.
You need to listen to this. You need to tune in. You need to get connected with Melissa and Dr. Jill because and I anyway, let me finish this because then they can probably rob me anyway. But I can tell them there's a movement going on between them too.
Yeah.
There's a movement going on between them. That's
Yeah.
the reason why I told you to connect with them. All right, please connect with them. I have my reasons. All right, let's take a break, beats, and we come back right after this. So we're still on Facebook. Y'all are doing wonderful. This movement,
Excellent.
I have to talk with this. I don't know much, but I didn't know what I didn't sense in my spirit from the last time I had y'all there. So y'all ready? Because this is a God thing. So y'all better
yes,
be
it
ready.
is.
And
Yeah.
if you're moving from worshiper over here to faith walk over here, y'all can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Y'all can't go wrong.
It's I believe that God has divinely connected us. I do believe that. And even in sitting and listening to her story, it encouraged me because many times as believers we're passive. We're passive about the things that go on in our lives, and we sit and we just allow. We sit and we just almost relish in, okay, this is what's happening to me, as opposed to being productive in what's going on, being involved in what's going on in your life. And
But I mean,
so
let me
she
just
said,
put a plug right there. Because you're saying that reminded me of David. David would go to God and ask him, should I
should
Go
I?
should I
pursue.
go and pursue?
Yes.
And that's how we have to ask when
Yeah.
things are happening.
Yeah.
God, should I go and pursue? Because yes, God can fight our battles, but we got to do some stuff too. But we just need
Absolutely.
to ask Him, and He'll
Absolutely.
tell us. You know what I mean? Like we can't
Absolutely.
just sit there. This wasn't a battle that God gave me that I was going to sit from my experiences with women that I dealt with. It's even in the Facebook group now. It's just the women that I dealt
Yes,
with.
we were
The
so
one
informed,
person
all
that
this other
we took care of. To see how they did her. I wasn't going to sit around and let them treat me like that.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't going to do that. No,
Woo!
because God gave us wisdom.
Thanks.
Huh? Y'all
Plenty.
left for such a time as this.
Such
right?
a time
Okay,
as this.
just making
Yeah.
sure. All right. Yeah. So I waiting for y'all to go forward and make it happen.
The movement is coming.
The
Yeah.
movement is coming. The movement is here.
It's here. The manifestation of it
It's
is
here.
here.
It's here. It's evident. It's evident. So there are a lot of women who are, like I said, who may have been diagnosed this month, and I'm praying that this show get to them and in their hearing because they're gonna need to know. They're gonna need to know a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, we spoke about mental. We spoke about. Did you talk about physical? Did you talk about any of the pains and ailments that you went through?
No, not
Okay,
yet.
so right when we get back on, we're gonna talk about that. Because what are some things that they'd be expecting? At least with Dr. Jill, she read up on things and then she was connected to people who would have warned her in advance about what
Mhm.
was happening. Did you have anyone? Did you have a circle?
No.
Welcome back. For those who are tuning in, we have with us Dr. Gillian Curry Williams along with Melissa Maycock.
Marissa.
What's wrong with me? Marissa Maycock, and they are cancer warriors, survivors,
Yes.
overcomers,
More
more than
than
conquerors
conquerors.
through Christ Jesus. They're sharing their stories. Of course, the first set of their stories you will hear at a previous show that they did, and we're just cleaning up whatever we left off from the last time. And so, just before the break, we were talking about what the steps to recovery, what all the process they went through. How did they feel? We got a warrior. I have a warrior to my left who been to the mall after she done had her surgery. She ain't say she ain't shocked like that. But with women, we looking through the window. We gotta come out with something, right? So, and this is the process and procedure. Why? Because she said she believed God.
Yes.
What something that stood out to me is the fact that she went and did research. It's nothing like when you don't have the knowledge available for you. And that's life. Like when you're already prepared for something, you stand a better chance of having to overcome and defeat. Just like fear. Like when you're going out to do a presentation and you ain't prepared, you just stumbling all over the place. But when you've already prepared yourself, it's like taking an
Yes.
exam.
Yeah.
You've already studied, you already know what is what. And so now it's your time. So you just go through the process. You just go through it. And so out of the many notes and nuggets that were taking place throughout the show, let me advise that you get heads up, get the knowledge, get the skills. Just because you've been diagnosed doesn't mean that it's the end of the world.
Absolutely.
Get connected and get the information. Know what is needed from what is not needed. And for someone who may say, okay, you're fine, but then you're feeling something and something is not right, you know your body. Nobody else knows your body except you and God. You know your body. Go and get a second opinion. Don't just settle for what doc say and then you just go your way. Because doc just want to make sure your insurance good and your money right. Some of them. Some of them. All right. What was it we said we were going to discuss after that?
So we were talking about some of the things that you will experience in
Yes.
the
Physical
journey,
pain.
some of your pains, even some of the mental battles that you may face. And I our pastor's wife, Lady Sophia, she had been through cancer before. She just talked to me about her journey and what she experienced, but I did not have a lot of people around me who I could talk to, who were able to say this is what to expect. So I experienced a lot of the inflammation and a lot of the fatigue and the just your body in pain, the extreme nausea and all that, because I ended up having to go through the chemo. So initially I did the adriamycin. I pray I'm saying these names right. The adriamycin and cetoplin. I did that. They call that the red devil. That's what they call the red devil. That's the thing that's the chemo drug that makes you lose your hair. So I went from a thick, full head of hair, mid back length to after one chemo round of chemo.
Talk to us about that process.
Maybe okay. So I went for my first round of chemo. It would have been at the ending part of November, somewhere in there. And that process lasted maybe about 2 and some hours. That's once you get in the chair. I want people to understand. I'm saying this specifically to the persons that will have to go through oncology just to preserve their sanity because they don't have insurance. Be prepared sometimes to wait. I know that they are understaffed. I know that they're understaffed not just from the nursing standpoint, but from the physician standpoint. They're understaffed, and they're trying to accommodate so many people. So sometimes you end up having the same appointment as it seems to be 1,000 other people. So that wait sometimes is extremely long. But I don't want to discourage you because I need you to get the treatment. that you need. But just be prepared. Just be prepared because they are understaffed. They have some of the best nurses that I've encountered. Okay. I can't speak to the private sector because I didn't have the privilege of going through that sector. So I just have to speak for them. I I don't know if I'm just God's favorite that I was graced to have met some of the some of the nurses that I did, and they were extremely they were just so gracious. They make it a point to know your name, and that makes you feel better about going through the process. Because you there was a sitcom that the song "You Wanna Go Where Everybody Knows Your Name," okay, right, and they're always glad you came, that kind of thing. And so it felt good for them to, it felt like they were acknowledging me and that they were seeing me. Right. I wasn't just a number. I wasn't just another face. No, they made it a point to, they make it a point to know your name. Come on.
That
okay.
When you
Okay.
walk with the Lord.
So they made it a
They made
point.
it a point.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
Okay. And so God, I believe that God had angels on assignment concerning me in the midst of that situation. I want to shout out a nurse Smith there, and I want to shout out the lady Foster who was there as well. And they may say this, but see this, but they were some Nurse Smith in particular, an amazing nurse. And just because I can't remember Nurse Connie and all the rest of them, but I want those people who are going to have to go this road to understand it's not free. Not just because you're going through the public system means it's free. No, it's not free. It's not free. Chemo is not free, and you will see the sign telling you it is not free. You got to pay for your medications, and even God will give you grace in that. Okay, and my sessions were upwards of $500 a time, and I was doing them every single week. Okay, so it's not inexpensive, and there are medications that are a whole lot more than that. There are people that are paying almost $1,000, depending on what it is. They tell you about keeping your blood count up, because if you have to do the shots, those shots are $100 and something per shot. If you have to do those shots to get your blood count up to be able to do chemo, it's expensive. So you want to take care of your body while you are going through the process. I too did a lot of fasting while doing chemo. I mean, while doing chemo, I did a lot of fasting. I think God graced me to be able to go through that. And so I experienced the fatigue. I mean, the times when you feel like you just could not get up out of bed, like it hurt to get up, it hurt to move, it hurt to sit, it hurt to stand, it hurt to bathe, because some of the medications lead to inflammation. I dealt with the extreme nausea and the vomiting and the loss of appetite and all that kind of stuff. So there was quite a bit of that journey that was really taxing. But I don't want anyone to be discouraged. You got to fight from all angles. You got to fight through prayer. You got to fight with the word. And you got to, if your assignment is to go through medicine, you got to also fight even in going through. I would lay this here on the table and let this marinate for you. You got to trust God even when you're doing medication, because either it's going to work or it won't work. And God still is God in the midst of it. So he gets the final say. He has the final word, and he knows exactly what he's going to allow to happen in your body. So there were the journey, it was a struggle. There were days that I just could not move. I could not. And it was simply the effects of chemo. So I went through, like I said, what they call the red double. I went through that first, and then I did 12 rounds of Taxol. So that was every single week. What is Taxol? Taxol is another chemo medicine. It's also fed in intravenously. So it goes into the body.
For instance, like after you're done, how do you feel? You feel groggy? Is there like a metallic taste in your mouth?
Yes. So it depends. And once again, this will depend on the type of chemo that they prescribe to you and the amount of it that you have to take. So I know for me with the Taxol, they would give me a pre-drug first. They would let that go into my system for about 15 minutes to counteract the inflammation. So they did a pre-drug before the Taxol. Every time I would get up from the Taxol, I felt like a train had literally hit me. Like it leaves you physically drained. It just like literally. So during the time I would drive myself when I did the adriamycin and cetoplin, I would drive myself to chemo. When I started doing that Taxol, the first time I did Taxol, I called my husband after I said, babe,
Come get me.
something is wrong. No, he couldn't come and get me because I had taken the car
Audrey.
to chemo. So I drove, I think like at like 12 miles an hour from Shirley Street
Oh.
to Doris Johnson on Prince Charles and his team. I'm so thankful for the Doris Johnson family because I was like, what in the world? Go to your wife, but he could not come to me because I had the car. So I drove. So like I felt like everything around me was just moving like at high speed. Everything was like it literally. So from that very first treatment, those next 11 treatments, I refused to drive myself because I felt like that every single time I was done. Like literally like a train had hit me, roll over me, reverse and then gone over me again. And so I would that the Taxol would literally have me in bed for a couple of hours afterwards. Yeah.
So I heard we actually have a few women on staff who overcame breast cancer, and they spoke about, having to throw up after chemo.
Mhm.
What would be the reason for that? I never asked. I just sit there.
There is something in the chemo drugs that interacts with your body and it causes this nausea. The literally it is the chemo drug that causes the nausea. It first of all, it's a poisonous substance that's going into your body. And I don't think a lot of people understand that chemo is poison. You're literally ingesting poison to kill some bad cells. And it does not just kill the bad cells. Chemo affects your bad and your good cells. So same thing with radiation. Radiation is a targeted therapy. It doesn't just handle the cancer cells. It ends up affecting your good cells because good cells are around those cancer cells. Your tissue is made up of good cells. Your bones, your ligaments, all that stuff. So that targeted therapy while it is targeting the areas that were affected, because of the way it's administered, it's still getting to your good cells. So you will hear them talk about the fact that they don't want to do any kind of reconstruction or any kind of surgeries until after you have damaged. And they will literally say this because you're going to damage, once you go through radiation, you're going to damage your good tissue, you're going to damage your good skin and all that kind of stuff. We ain't trying to do no kind of reconstructive anything until after you're finished with that process. Because we want to work with, once that is healed and everything, we want to work with what the newness that comes up back, whatever cells have regenerated and all of that stuff. My radiation journey helped me, Jesus.
During that radiation journey, I'm gonna ask you a question, but I want to go to Dr. Jill for a second. After you completed your final surgery, we didn't know you'd have been shopping, walking in the mall, or whatever, right? You've been hiking and all these other things. Did you have or experience any physical ailments after that? After during the healing to this point today, like it's your arm.
No. Initially with surgery, you couldn't lift your arms.
Yeah.
And they told you to get a physical therapist and whatever, but boss, I didn't think they physical therapy.
She goes against the grain. She goes against the grain.
I just knew there were things like if you watch enough videos, I went on YouTube. They showed you how to take your hand and just initially
crawl it up
like
the
this,
wall,
and you crawl your fingers up a little bit.
Yeah, crawl it up.
And then you crawl up because everything was tight. Listen,
yes,
I got the aesthetic flat closure. So everything was as if you had a tummy tuck.
Oh.
Tight. You cannot do nothing. Tight. So that skin and everything was tight, but you needed to move because if you didn't, it would stay tight and you wouldn't be able to do anything. So I would practice. I remember being at my son's house because I was staying for a bit and just moving my fingers up the wall, and I'll come back down and then I'll go away from the wall a little bit and go closer so I could do it. I did it myself until kept going up each time I did it, went up, and then one day I was able to God,
Look at that.
thank
Look
you.
at that. Hold on, with the
Yes,
camera.
like yes,
Put the
like
camera on
yes.
for me, please.
So I can lift my hands
Just
no
let it-
problem. Like
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
I have
man.
no tightness, no nothing. I can lift my hands. Like yes, but I can do that.
You can do it before.
I can do it before.
So you won't spend no money on therapy.
I didn't spend. I started going to what she was a chiropractor, I think, but
Mhm.
it was for lymphatic drainage.
Mhm.
And then, of course, I could do some research,
Oh,
right?
Uh-huh.
So I
All you
researched.
gotta do is teach her once, and after that,
That's
she's gonna
it,
she
that's
never talk
it.
to y'all no more. Okay?
I researched where you get a infrared sauna
Mhm.
and you sit in the infrared sauna because it detoxifies your body.
Mhm.
So I got my infrared sauna. And then actually I had my infrared sauna prior to surgery. Nothing to do with this or nothing. I just got the infrared because that's what it does.
Mhm.
So when I read up on it as a good thing for after you've had it, I was like, oh, I already have this.
Mhm.
And then I got me a trampoline. Because when you jump on the trampoline, when you go up and come down,
Yeah.
your ducts all open, so it's
And drain,
draining.
and it
Yeah,
drains.
so I didn't
Yes.
have to then go to her anymore for what I was going to her for because I could do it myself. So I just, I'm a firm, hard believer, and sometimes I don't like to post stuff
Yeah.
because if I post today, get you some apricot seeds and take 3. You could probably take 6 a day,
Mhm.
and that's going to kill your parasites, which you do have in your body. And get you some organic coconut flakes, non-sugar, because sometimes they put sugar in them. And take that and get you some pumpkin seeds because all those things together
Mhm.
Fight.
parasites do not like. They will kill parasites.
Mhm.
Somebody could be, well, oh, how much? And you don't want to research.
Mhm.
Like you get the information, but you don't want to look at it for yourself. So I got the information and I researched myself. I did sufficient. I asked in the groups like, do y'all have infrared sauna? Do y'all have the thing? And they were popping up, yes, we do, and yes, it works, and yes. So I was like, yeah, okay, like, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I mean. Y'all know I tried to put my little Bible story in there. Sorry, but no, this ain't the Bible story, but this is common sense. Isn't it typical for us as our people in general, where we get the message and information from the messenger
Mhm.
only, and then we take that as gospel and then we just run with it without going and researching what the scripture truly really means or what the information truly really means and how they can be backed up. We just take it for what it is
Mhm.
because of laziness. Bind that spirit of laziness in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
Go do
Amen.
your research, man.
Amen.
Do your research for scriptures. Now
Mhm.
go get your healing scriptures.
Yeah.
For those who listening now, tune in. Go and look for scriptures. Google it. Healing scriptures in the Bible. Go to YouTube. Healing. We have people who reading off scriptures for you so you could actually listen to them as you're doing your work.
That's
Let it
right.
play in the background, or when you're about to fall asleep, let it play in the background with your healing scriptures to help build up the spiritual man. All right, because you can need it. Clearly, you can need it.
Yes.
Let's talk about mental. Let's be transparent today. Marissa, how was mental?
Mentally, I had to stay focused. I really had to stay focused because when your body is experiencing the trauma that it is, when your body is experiencing the beating that it's taking, okay, so the cancer is one thing, okay, your body was already affected in some way. You may have started, and I need women to start paying attention to what their bodies are telling them even before there is an alarm for a diagnosis. Your body is speaking to you and you're not listening. Your body, that extra fatigue that you're experiencing is telling you something. The little pains that you're experiencing is telling you something. The tenderness you're feeling in your breast is telling you something. The redness in your skin is telling you something, and we're not paying attention.
A headache.
Where
Yeah.
that headache is telling you something, okay? That upper right shoulder back pain is it's telling you something, and we're not paying attention enough to what our bodies are saying, because we get in this mode where we drive, push our bodies, and we think we got to be superheroes, we got to be all things to all men, so that we can save some alive. Yes, I understand that, but you need to pay attention. You need to listen to what your body is saying to you, especially if you're not giving it the proper nutrients, you're not dieting, you're not exercising, and that word dieting is even tricky in and of itself. If you're not feeding your body, but your body needs to live, what your body needs to regenerate, what your body needs to naturally heal on its own, you need to be paying some attention. Okay, pay attention to what your body is saying to you. And so um, my mind had to continuously say, okay, this won't last forever. Okay, this pain won't last forever. This nausea won't last forever. I even experienced where my mouth broke out because of the chemo. Okay, so they prescribed something to me called the magic mouthwash that and it coats and it's supposed to deal with what's going on in your mouth because of the chemo medicine. My feet would, I ended up experiencing neuropathy in my feet, like literally, like it felt like 1,000 needles under my feet. So I remember walking into oncology one day and it was like, what is going on with you? And I was near the brink of tears. I was like, I couldn't put my foot down. Like it was 1,000 needles on the bottom of my feet. And all of these things, it takes a toll on your physical person, but it also takes a toll on your mind. Like, okay, God, like how much more of this can I endure? How much more of this can I go through? And he would always comfort. He would either he would send somebody to comfort. He would apostle would call to find out, how you doing, and then he would pray. My husband would be like, how are you doing? My mom, especially, she was a pillar of strength in that time, and she would be like, that black seed oil. I know that's one thing, like lady Dr. G, that black seed oil. She
Black seed oil is
the black seed oil. There's something that she made me take called ferroglobin, and this was from one of her friends in Oklahoma where she stays. She was also fighting breast cancer at the same time, and she was taking these natural things. The ferroglobin, it builds up your blood. Is an iron, but on steroids. An iron supplement on steroids is the best way I can put that. And she was taking it, and her doctor said to her, "We don't know what you're doing, but whatever it is that you're doing, obviously that ain't got nothing to do with this chemo. You need to do it." So when she learned about the ferroglobin, she brought some home and she said, "Marissa, you need to take this ferroglobin, take this IP6 inositol, and you need to be taking this black seed oil, this castor oil. You need to be taking that, and all these other things." So my mom was for me what Dr. G is. Okay. And so I would take that. And nasty, I might as well tell you that black seed oil, that black seed oil,
whatever it is,
it's like Buckley's.
In the tablet form.
It comes. There is once my black seed tablets were done, my mom brought me this liquid, and she was hell bent on continuously bringing me this black seed oil.
Some Kool-Aid or something for me, because I ain't taking.
Listen to me.
Listen, I have this thing. Even though it may taste bad, this can work for my body. So I'm taking it. Yeah. I take black seed oil in liquid form twice a day. Yeah. First thing in the morning and before I go to bed. Yeah. I take it.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna have to hold me down.
Do the caplets. Do the caplets, please.
Because I have a drop bottle, so I put my head way back and I put the dropper there, so it only goes in the back.
See, no, so I ain't got the dropper bottle. See, I have the bottle where you got to pour it into the cap thing. And when I tell you, okay, that thing has
Buckley's. It's nasty,
but it works.
No, but I was able to endure Buckley's before. It can't
so you could take Buckley's. You could take.
I had Cersei one time. The last time.
No man, I will take Cersei any day over this black seed oil. But the black seed oil works. Okay. The black seed oil does work.
Black seed oil does so much. It has 82. I think it's 82 minerals and whatever.
Yes.
Black seed oil, they say, will do everything but kill you.
Like that castor oil, sea moss.
Yes.
You need to have it.
My mom.
Castor oil is the one you take as a pill. What you do with castor oil is
come.
You get the pill and you freeze the pills. Castor oil ain't something that you should really, especially if you're trying to cleanse your body. Castor oil ain't something that you just take, because what it's gonna do is it go in and swoosh everything out quick. It ain't got time to like marinate and get everything. So you do castor oil. I do castor oil once a month. I take 5 for 5 days. I take the pills, 25 pills, put them in the freezer, and I take 5 at night. for 5 days.
Beach showing us they have black seed oil gummies.
No, that ain't.
what?
That's not as potent. No, it's
You
not.
sure? Because that's what I'll be taking because I can eat that.
It's not as potent.
Because
But
No, but hold on. So you
Beef
freeze
say he
it.
ain't about to
freeze
do
the
no
pills.
liquid.
I freeze 25 of them,
Mhm.
and 5 days out of each month, I take 5 in the night before I go to bed.
Mhm.
So they sit and they marinate and they get into the crease and crevices
Everything.
inside.
Yeah.
And so you sure you're getting rid of.
All the
Yeah, it's better to
toxins
do
and
it like
everything.
that than
And you
taking
don't
a
have to have
spoonful
breast
and do
cancer
it.
to take these castor
No,
oil
the
and
things
these flaxseed
no.
oil and all these
You
different
take
things.
these things just to
Come on, let's
maintain
take
the
care of our
healthy,
bodies.
Yeah.
the healthy gut.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it's for.
A lot of us are sick from the inside.
Yeah.
And that's
The
and
food we eat
okay.
is
So
garbage.
somebody would say, "Duh, yeah, I'm sick from the inside," but no, you need to understand what that really means.
Mhm.
A lot of us are sick because, like she said, because of our gut,
Yeah.
because of our gums. Okay, I did not recognize until I started looking at this that sometimes the what we are experiencing in our mouth is directly connected with what's going on in our body.
Mhm.
Some people may brush their tongue, brush their teeth up top, round, and all that, and you still can't get. It's a reflection of what's
'Cause we
going
have
down
infections in our body.
on the inside of you.
I
And
mean-
the more we ignore stuff, the more that gives bad cells in our bodies time to do what they need to do,
Yeah.
be activated, and then start replicating themselves. Okay, so we need to be paying attention
Pay attention.
through and through to what's going on. Don't ignore any pain that you're experiencing in your body. But if we get back to talking about the mental portion of it, it was a small fight, but I was never defeated. I
love
would put
that.
it like that. It was a small fight, but I was never defeated because I was constantly reminded that I'm going to bring you through this.
Take this cup
Yeah.
from me.
Yeah.
But not my will.
Thrice I prayed unto the Lord, Jesus.
Hold on.
And
we
he did
ain't get
not-
there yet. We talked about Jesus cup first. Then he asked, he said, take this from me. And he said, and he, that's the human part of it.
Yeah.
Lord,
Yeah.
remove this from me. Take this cup from me. And then he catch himself.
Not my will, but
and
your
then
will
we
be done.
Then
Exactly.
we get Paul, who was saying, man,
Come
I
on.
had this
I didn't pray
issue
for the
with
same
you on
3
this
times,
side, and
man.
3 times
Yeah.
and still here. What's going on?
My grace
I
is
know.
sufficient for
My
you.
grace is
Come on,
sufficient
talk
for you.
about it.
All
Talk
right?
about it.
And then there's a story where Jesus went to go and get Lazarus, and Jesus said, listen, this sickness is not unto death. Come on, man. Come
Not
on,
unto
man.
death.
It's only sickness is to bring glory and honor to the kingdom.
Not unto that.
right.
Yeah.
All right, who we talking
I
to
feel
today?
that's what I went through. It's only to bring glory.
Or
and
That's
honor.
all.
That's
That's all.
very obvious. It's
That's
only
all.
for the glory of God.
Absolutely.
All right, let's take a break real quick before we start church again, because y'all know how it's going here. All right, so let's take a break, please. Good. All right, so now we're back on Facebook audience. We thank you so much for tuning in on the show.
Thank you,
We're going
Facebookers.
to answer you
Facebook.
after
Stay
the show,
in your
right?
lane.
We'll answer you after the show. And so when we get back on, and this will be our last few minutes, and I want to talk about what are people not saying or not saying enough when it comes to breast cancer in women. So you could give you all an opportunity to think about that. Because the whole purpose, as I always say, of this show is so that we could be the voice, so that we can be transparent, so that we can say the things that everybody else may get in trouble for not saying. See, Dr. Gillian, you too.
Yeah.
I've been saying some things, I'd be like, should we edit
Yeah.
that? Should we cut that out? No.
No.
We need to hear this.
We really don't understand the fact that when the person goes through the diagnosis that they're not walking through it alone, especially when you have family, that you're not walking through it alone. Your family is affected. Your caregiver, if you have one, is affected. Your children are affected. Your husband is affected. Sometimes your self-esteem is affected because it's such a major transition. It's such a major diagnosis that you don't
You want a break?
you don't understand that that it's not all about you in that moment. You can be selfish and forget that your family is walking through it with you, especially for the married
all
woman.
of that when we start back on the radio.
Especially for the married person. Your husband is going to be affected because he's going to see his wife go through this traumatic experience, sometimes they feel helpless because they can't relate. They don't know what it
They
is
don't know what to do.
to have breast. They don't understand what it is that you are walking through. So sometimes them even processing it is going to look crazy to you, and you can't figure out like how you don't understand.
Salute to your priests, prophet, and kings. I didn't do that at the beginning of the show, and I should have done that. I just want to honor both of the people who stood beside you and who've been there for you because y'all spoke so highly about them.
Yeah, shout out.
Shout out to let's go, Dr. Jill. You shout out your husband for me, please. I know he ain't asking
Because he legit over here. He in his phone legit.
He's looking for
Uncle Boots in the room.
I used to I can give you the name. It starts with G. I can't.
She's gonna look for it.
Mommy used to
Let
get
her
this
pick up
Nature
her
Valley
husband
black
first,
seed
Lisa.
oil, and then
Nature
this,
Valley. You
and
gotta
then
make sure
something
this
else.
thing 100% too, 'cause
Yes,
there's
she brought
Yeah.
two brands for me. She brought the Nature Valley, but the tablets that I was taking was something different.
Okay.
It wasn't Nature Valley.
So that's actually, even though
Nature
he
Valley,
asked
sorry.
us a really good question because we want to make sure the audience have an idea of
Mhm.
what brand to use as well. So Marissa, you go first then. While Dr. Jill is looking for her brand, I want you to just acknowledge your husband on this show, please, because that's what we do.
Yes, shout out to Delwyn Dwight and Maycock, my husband of almost 18 years. We're actually going to celebrate our 18th wedding anniversary this December, so we're super excited about that. Shout out, Boo. Shout out to you. Shout out to Damari and Majari too, because they can feel some type of way.
Yeah, you gotta pick up the
They can feel, they can feel some type
Fine
of
girl.
way. So love you guys. Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Damari and Majari, yeah.
Majari.
My prince and princess. The ones that should not have been here by doctors.
Right, because the doctors always say
Yeah, they shouldn't have been here. But God, look at him. Won't he do it? Yes, he will.
Yes, he will.
Mhm.
So I want to give a shout out to my wonderful, wonderful husband, Franklin K.M. Williams.
Okay.
Yes.
Uncle Frank.
You know that I love you. Thank you for your support through this entire journey. I know some days you got frustrated. I felt your frustration, and you weren't frustrated at me. You were frustrated at the system. But thank you so much for hanging in there. Thank you. I know there were times you wanted to be with me in surgeries and stuff, but you couldn't. But I thank you none the same. Thank you that you were just there and you were always praying. There are many mornings that he wakes me because he's sitting at the edge of the bed praying.
Wow.
And he does that every day. He does not leave home unless he prays over me every day. He
Amen.
does it. He
Amen
does it
to
every day.
Priest, prophet, and king.
Come on, talk about
And
it.
I want to shout out to my children, Heidi and Donovan.
Woo-hoo.
Thank you
All
for
right.
being there. Like Heidi got time to be with me from her job. Thank you. You know that I love you both. Donovan for coming because he lives in the U.S., so he was able to come to where I was at for surgery. Thank you so much. You guys know that I love you. And Hayden, you know that Grammy loves you. Like I can't even say what I like that you compare because there ain't nothing that I like that can compare to how much Grammy loves you. But thank you to all, and thank you to my mom and my brothers. I'm sorry. I just give a shout out to all of them. Like, thank you to my mother because the nurse in her kicked in like instant. Like it don't go nowhere, but it kicked in, So there were certain things that I was doing that I couldn't tell her because she was like, Jilly, you shouldn't be doing that. Jilly, you had a major surgery. Even today, she tell me, you shouldn't be doing all of this because you have a major surgery. You still have to take it easy. I don't care how you feel, but you had a major surgery. You didn't have one breast off. You had two breasts off. That's a major surgery. I could hear telling me that now, right? And thank you to my brothers who've always covered me in prayer. Like, thank you guys so much. Y'all know I love y'all. So yeah, I'm the best sister. I'm the best aunt. I'm the best mom. I'm the best wife. Like, me. Grammy. And me.
Listen, y'all have awesome support system. That's important. Having a support system. It's terrible when you have something going on with your body, and we are now. Right now? Okay, I'll wait. I got the stinky eye from Pete's. Don't start because I know how you go to Sean. Wait. All right, I'll wait. Welcome back. So we are wrapping up, and during our break, we were just talking about, what are some of well, first of all, we were saluting and honoring our priest, prophet, and king. So for those who didn't know or didn't hear us, because y'all listening to the radio portion, listen later, I guess. Go watch it on Facebook or YouTube because we big up our kings or they bigged up their kings and their support system, which is ultimately and so important. And as you know, just before the break, I was saying how important it is to have some type of support group, friends, family, whatever it is. Do not go and isolate yourself. The enemy wants you to isolate yourself. The enemy wants you to think that nobody loves you, boo-hoo, nobody cares. The enemy wants you to feel as if this is like some sickness that is scorned, or no, this is my business and I don't want nobody to know I going through cancer and I going through this alone. And so he wants to just leave you there. And when you're there in that spot, you realize that you become depressed. And he comes and he throws darts in your mind. So he tells you lies and he tells you you're not gonna make it. And every single thing that you possibly think, because he's the only key, he wants to steal, kill, and destroy your life. All right, you cannot go through any type of, not even breast cancer, any form of sickness, disease, whatever ailments that you're going through by yourself.
Yeah, you shouldn't go it alone.
You should not. You should have a support system. You should have friends. You should have family. You should have people who love you. All right, and of course, should I go there? No,
Go there.
Go there. Ah,
Go there.
I was dared to go there. Love people. Love people. Don't be selfish.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, don't be bitter. Don't be envious. Don't be wicked. Because when you go through these particular situations, you ain't gonna have nobody with you.
Yeah,
That's right.
I had to
That's
go
right.
there. I mean, she did.
that's real.
Yeah.
I was trying to be nice.
Yeah.
No, it's
But
real.
and then you wonder why people by themselves and
Ain't
he
there.
ain't come to see me and she ain't come to see me. What were you doing
Yeah,
before the
too.
sickness? You push them away.
Do unto
So
others.
cost,
And you just better pray for the Lord to touch that friend or that brother or that sister or somebody who know that what love is. So love is, of course, you loving someone or you being there for someone regardless if they are unlovable. So you better pray for those that who know how it is to love unconditionally to come and see about you. But if you having a bad attitude, you always complaining about people, you always trying to wreck up people's home, and you always talking about someone, you know what I mean, being mean and
Yeah.
envious. When you go through these sicknesses and stuff, don't expect no one to be around you, please.
That's true.
It's a hard.
You ain't gonna have
Pill.
no big support system.
That's a hard pill.
I had to go there. I was dared.
Yeah, it's true.
Let's get back. Let's get back. So what we talking about now? My question was, and it's the final question. Could it be? No, probably one more question after this. But what are people not saying or not saying enough when it comes to breast cancer in women, Dr. Jill?
That and I know it's a cliche, but it's true that breast cancer is not a death sentence, but it's how we deal with it. I've heard some stories lately about women knowing that they have breast cancer and they're saying nothing, so they wait until that breast get to a rotted stage. I'm going to put it that way, because y'all will understand and understand the significance of
Yes.
saying something and getting it dealt with. There's no need to
Hide.
like you say, like you just spoke about, there's no need to hide what you're going through. There are 15 million plus women who have cancer, who've gone through cancer. So you're not the first one. You won't be the last one.
No.
So, okay, let's get the diagnosis and let's deal with it and let's fight to live. That's
I love that. I just want to talk a little about the love of Jesus too, because I felt that in my spirit now. That even if you have, and I didn't want to condemn those who may have been wicked, who may have been bitter, who may have treated people, even though you reap what you sow, you could still come back to Jesus. You
That's
could still
right.
repent. You could still turn your life around and start to love people and be more merciful and gracious to people. So it's not like someone's just gonna just leave you hanging. I felt that just now. It's not like people are gonna leave you hanging there, because God is still a loving God enough.
Yes.
Yes.
Like I said before, He will bring people from out of anywhere and out of His wherever He needs to get that person from to come and reach out to you. He will do that. All right, so don't feel woe is me and nobody loves me, nobody cares. Jesus loves you so much that He will
Yes.
place a
Yes.
stranger,
Mm-hmm.
an angel unaware, to come and knock on your door and ask you need some help, or this is what the Lord placed on my heart to give you this grocery.
Yeah.
The Lord placed on my heart to give you this $200 to go towards your medical expenses, etc. Regardless of how you treated people in the past, because that's how sweet His love is to all of us,
Yes.
to the sinner, because that's who we came for. All right, so this is an opportunity. If you have been that way, just it's okay to repent.
Yeah.
And when you have this opportunity, you still have breath in your lungs. Get it right. Call somebody. Apologize for what you've done. To people who have hurt you, forgive them. Start with that, because honestly, that's where cancer starts.
A lot of sickness
And
starts
most
from that.
most sicknesses
Unforgiveness.
starts from unforgiveness. That's your show. How are they talking? What are people not saying or not saying enough, Marissa?
I think when you get a diagnosis, not just for breast cancer, but I just want to speak in general. But as we highlight breast cancer, that it's not just the person who was diagnosed that goes through this ordeal. That especially if you are married and with children, everybody suffers.
Everybody.
Because dynamics change. You understand what I'm saying? You may not have been going through my process of treatment. There were things that I was counted on to do that I could no longer do at the capacity that I used to prior to being treated. There were moments when I could not be as attentive to the children, to my husband, as they would have needed. There were days that I tapped out and the day had not yet even began. I simply had to recognize where I was, what my body was experiencing in the moment, what my body was saying to me. And I didn't have a choice if I wanted to yield to it or not, because going through treatment sometimes takes away those choices. There were days I had to fight to get out of bed and say, yes, you are going to work today, in spite of what you feel.
I love that.
You are going to go to work today, so that there's some semblance of productivity in your life. But then I would get home and there's nothing left to give at home. So how do you manage that dynamic? So dynamics change when you're going through treatment. Sometimes it changes. I want to say this because we started to talk about this. Sometimes even your sex drive will change because your body is going through so much turmoil. That may be the furthest thing from your mind. How do husbands and wives communicate in the midst of that process? What's going on? Our husbands and wives both, because I want us to remind us that there are men that walk through breast cancer just as well as there are women that walk through breast cancer. So how are we communicating these changes that we are experiencing? Women are connected emotionally to intimacy. What happens when the woman is going through all of this transition and turmoil and trauma and all this in her body and can't give?
So can we help these ladies then?
Yeah.
Y'all realize we're sure you on, right?
Yeah.
So you know we going there.
Come
right?
on then.
All right. So what happens in the case when your husband wants some and you are not mentally there, or you don't feel sexy? What do you do? Who we starting with?
Well, you just do. I mean,
You better.
there are other things that you can do.
What are some things that you can do, ma'am?
I mean, you could. You really say,
of course.
Oh my gosh.
She said you on the Trish.
Oh, you're laying. That's where we are.
Franklin, this is not your wife. This is Gillian.
She's only helping the other women at the moment. Don't you know?
So you just use your hand. You do what you could for him. Yeah. You may not feel like it, but he still needs the satisfaction.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't deny him the release that he needs. You know, because then the enemy, you're leaving an open door for the enemy to step in, and then you'll say, "Oh, it's her," but technically it's you. It ain't her. She just a direct result, but it's you.
No, that's true. It's true.
So to that I say that we ran here today. Help, Lord. So there are two things that happens. Where there is no understanding, it's going to breed frustration. First of all, if you and your husband or you and your wife don't sit down and have a conversation, it's going to breed frustration, some serious frustration. And it's not that any one person is at fault, is that we didn't come to an understanding. We didn't have an open conversation. We didn't sit down and we didn't talk about, okay, this is what's going on in me right now. This is what's going on in you right now. How do we navigate this? So the first place we start is at communication. Even it may stem out of that same conversation, baby, I want some, and then he or she saying, "Hey, I even ain't into that right now. Like you even understand what's going on in my body." And like I said, this can be male or female because both genders will have the capacity to experience breast cancer. But if we want to be gender specific for the woman, she is emotionally connected to intimacy from several layers. Okay. If we're not having a conversation, we're not getting down to the nitty gritty of the fact that this is what's going on in me, she's going to build resentment because she will look at it as saying, he does not understand, but you didn't have a conversation. You didn't invite him into a space to understand. I'm not saying this for those that have done this and still meet a wall. I'm saying this for the woman that may have to walk through this and may not yet recognize the fact that she needs to have a conversation and that she needs to be open with what she's feeling and not expect him through osmosis to simply assimilate that this is what I am experiencing in the moment. You need to be open. You need to have a conversation. For the husband that will experience his wife going through this trauma, be understanding. Recognize that when you see her moving a little slower, when you see her response taking a little longer, that there is something hormonally and both physically happening in her body that she may not have control of. Once you've worked through the communication side of it and y'all have come to an understanding, then it's time to compromise, as Dr. G would have said. It's time to compromise. What does that look like for you? That may look like we have to do foreplay and foreplay only. We may not get to intercourse. Or it may look like you have so secured me in where I'm at right now that you're making intercourse easy for me at this point. Yeah. Okay, so this is multifaceted. Okay, there's no one right answer. There's no one wrong answer because it will happen at different layers and that depends on the couple. Okay,
I like that.
We may not have intercourse.
You may not have intercourse.
But the thing is, what's different with it? It's different with a person that, I mean, that's how I feel. I never had one breast, so I don't know. Right.
The right? 1 month says back.
I just know I had two and then I had none.
Right.
And then prior to that, having none, I had fibroids, so I had a hysterectomy.
Yeah.
So I'd already lose part of something.
Yeah.
And then to come now to lose the other part of what you had, a little bit of something, it's like, oh boy, that estrogen and stop doing that, progesterone and stop doing, like everything has shifted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What can women do then?
So you have to, yes, a husband can do his part, but I just feel that, and that's what I do for myself. Yes, my husband could call me, like I tell him, I said, Jesus, boy, you got to give me 3 days advance. You gotta do romance.
Work me up.
Because I ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
Work me up.
But you, as a woman, have to do some things yourself. Yeah. You have to, in your mind, prepare yourself. Because, he could do what he wants, but if you still ain't mentally prepared to receive, it ain't happening.
Yeah.
So you have to, why do you give me
and then
3
you
days?
Create frustration for him.
I'm taking 3 days too. So you trying to get me ready, and I trying to get myself ready.
So some things that can be done to help with women who may not have that libido. What can you suggest? Some things that you have been doing to help to boost you? You say the 3 days. Maybe he wants it at day 2. How do I get from?
Mine is just a mental thing.
Yeah,
it's just a mental thing for me. Like, this is what he wants. This is what he needs. But I knew how it felt before this.
Right.
So it's like a great anticipation even though it may be a day or two before, we say it's 3 days, like Jesus. But it's still you and your mind.
Yeah.
And if it was good before, rest on that. It was good before. It's almost like they say watching pornography is wrong.
Yeah.
But what I shouldn't say they say watching pornography is
It
wrong.
Right.
But it's almost like you have your own pornography going on in your head with what you had with your husband.
Yeah. You and him.
That's your
process.
yeah.
Do cancer patients experience vaginal dryness?
Yes, I could say yes.
Mhm.
She is on
Yeah.
the
So obviously with that, the reason why I said there's so many, we go through so much as women.
Yes.
So it don't even have to be cancer, because you could be going through something, just come off of surgery from something
Mhm.
that still have that vaginal, menopause causes it all this. So how can cancer patient or women who overcoming deal with the sexual part of them?
You still
even
have-
though you have that mental thing, and if it dry down that
you still have to be careful of what you take.
Mm.
It all depends on how your cancer was, whether it was progesterone orientated or estrogen. You have to be careful of what you take, even with your deodorant and all that. You have to be careful.
Yeah.
You have to be careful of those things.
Mhm.
So
Even scents, perfumes, all that kind of
there's
stuff.
certain things,
Yeah,
even
lotions,
body wash and
all
that
that stuff. You
'cause
gotta
a
be
lot of
careful.
things, even the Succulmate, the detergent and the dishwashing, all those things have stuff in it. So you have to be
So
careful
what
of
are you
what you
looking
use.
at when you're looking at the deodorant and the detergent and the lotion and the
Man,
spray?
there's so many things. That's
Yeah.
a whole other show.
Ooh,
Yeah.
It's a
y'all
lot.
talking
Yeah.
about we
It's
doing
a lot.
about 3. No,
But-
but true.
But you have
Yeah.
to be careful of what you take, and it's better for you to talk to your doctor
Yeah.
to let them recommend, because they have something that's called the Scream Cream,
Mhm.
right? But when I see that in the group, I was like, oh.
Hold on. We gonna back. We gonna check
Scream
the
Cream.
Scream
Scream Cream, but
Listen,
it
I
has
need
to
look for
be.
Scream Cream.
It has to be your doctor writes the prescription, and it's something that's done by a compound pharmacy. So when I saw it, I was like, Laura Charlton thing, I just did a thing with a compound pharmacy. That's a plug for you. So y'all have to give me something when I come in your
Thanks.
store,
Yeah.
and y'all could advertise on the show.
Yeah.
But she's a compound pharmacy.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh, I could get the prescription. She could do it. Like, I was excited.
Mhm.
But your doctor has to write that prescription, because what may be in it for me may not be
Being
what
it
in it for
for
you.
you.
Ah.
But those
So what does
women,
this thing do? Does it help with?
it helps. It gives you that feeling. It takes away the dryness.
Yeah.
Yeah. But those
boosts
women
the
swear by
libido.
it. So when I
Team.
go to my
No.
when I go to my oncologist next month,
Mhm.
I will definitely be coming back with my prescription.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. I need-
Thanks.
What if I ain't nothing like that?
Yeah.
I was asking
There's
Girlfriend.
something else I will tell you, but I won't talk about it on the
That's
show.
true.
There's
Offline,
something else.
offline.
There's something else.
So
But-
we're wrapping up now.
Yeah.
I think we have like 2 more minutes, but this is something I already know the answer for this, but I just want you to help boost those who may have that fear. Coping with the fear of cancer reoccurrence can be a significant challenge for survivors as well.
Mhm.
And how can you? I'll ask Dr. Jill to answer this question. How would you encourage those who may be having or experiencing this issue of fear, or try to manage the fear, and to try to continue to live their life in their fullest?
To be honest, I had that about 3 months in
Yeah.
after my surgery. Because, you would read stories of persons, well, I had breast cancer, now it's gone to my liver, now it's gone here, now it's gone the other. And that's why I've taken on my health journey. It's so important to me,
Right.
because cancer cannot thrive in a healthy body. If it's
Alkaline body.
truly healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So I do my parasite cleanses. I do everything that I know I should be doing. I do it. But I also know that there's a different protocol for persons who've had chemo, because then you have to do a detox of your body from that chemo. And a lot of people don't do that.
No.
The body has to
You don't even know to
detox.
do it.
Yeah. The body has to detox from chemo. The detoxification is so important. But the main thing is to get your body in shape.
Mm-hmm.
You need to walk at least half an hour a day. Even if you get a stepper, I have that too, because I
Yeah.
can't get out on the road every day. So I have a stepper.
Mhm.
I have my own
your
stepper. I
body.
keep my body. I have my own weights. I get my
Yeah.
skipping rope. You have to do things.
You still have a trampoline?
I have my
Yes.
trampoline, yes. You have to do things that's gonna keep your
Active.
body healthy and active. Don't let the doctors be giving you a bunch of drugs after you already had it, unless you have to take them. Don't let your doctors be doing it, because I've had that experience too, where the doctor said, "Oh, you're this level high, and we have to give you this." Well, jeepers, when I researched, the very thing that you want me to take is going to give me cancer. Why am I going to take that?
Everything you need is in the bush.
Exactly.
Everything, go in the bush, you'll find something
And
for
you'll
every single
find-
cure. I mean, it will cure you. for
Get
every
you some
single-
soursop leaves.
Mhm.
Soursop leaves are good for cancer right now. I take stuff as maintenance. I take my turkey tail mushroom pills. I take my soursop tea. I drink that twice a day, sometimes
The
3
guinea
times a day.
hen.
All depends. You get the guinea hen tea. You could all these things you can get, but a lot of people don't like to research anything. So y'all have to research, man. Y'all got to do it. Y'all got to do
the
it.
work.
You have to do the work.
Do the
You gotta
work.
do
Don't be
it.
lazy.
Yeah, do the work.
Mhm.
Yeah, but your health is important to you. Just like Dr. G said, I'll just piggyback for 2 seconds. Feed your body what it needs
Yeah.
to continue healing. Okay, the threat of reoccurrence is highest in the people that go back to old habits. Okay, that's what I've learned. So for me personally, I'm on a journey to bring my body into the best version of itself that it can be. I'm on that journey to getting healthy. Okay, and Dr. G talked about the protocol for cancer patients that have gone through chemo. We don't recognize how long the effects of chemo last in our body is. It doesn't end when the chemo ends, okay? Because your body has been pumped and infiltrated with this poisonous substance. So your body, you took a drug to fight against the bad cells, but it destroyed the good cells in the process. And the more of it you take, the more cells are destroyed. So for the person that has gone through so much of the chemo, you got to be doing your counteractive stuff to that. You got
can't
to
have the
be
same lifestyle you did.
yeah,
Chicken
you
in a
can't
bag
you
and
can't
drink
you
more.
cannot continue that.
Yeah.
You cannot continue that because it's going to show up in a different way in your body. Okay? And so I in my mom and Dr. G, just in all the stuff that they've been to, I've gained a wealth of knowledge, and I'm on my journey in rebooting my body.
I love it.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now, rebooting my body. So I'm feeding my body what it needs to get healthy. You cannot, as a cancer patient that has come through on the other side, you cannot do the same things that you did before and expect to live the fullness that you were called
Come
to.
on.
You have to be intentional about your body. You have to be intentional. And now this is something I'm still working on. You have to be intentional about getting rest. You have to be intentional about listening for what your body is saying, because your body is still speaking to you. And these are things that I'm working on. I did not say, y'all didn't hear me say that I arrived. I didn't say that. What I am saying is that I'm now becoming more aware, more intentional about what I do, more intentional about how I live. And that may mean saying no sometimes to some things that you're asked to do that you realize that you cannot do. You cannot facilitate it and be the best version of you because you are depleted. If you've gone through chemo, your body is depleted. So I can't do this right now. I can't go this way right now. If your body says to lay down, you need to lay down and know that it's okay. Know that it's okay. I've been favored to have employers at the church that I work in that have been so understanding, because there are some times that driving takes a lot out of me. Okay, and it's just simply taxing. It's taxing, and so you got to lay down for a little bit. So you just need to listen to your body, and don't go back to the chicken in the bag.
No.
Don't go back to all the mayo and onions and thing on your snack and all that. Don't go back to all the oils and do what you're
Now
supposed
let
to
me
do.
just one second on what you have to say, because there's nothing wrong with eating stuff in moderation.
But that's
Yes.
what I was gonna say. 'Cause
Moderation is important, because this morning I woke up and I told Hayden, because he stayed with us, Hayden, let's go to Starbucks. We're going to try this frappuccino, whatever thing that is they talking about. And we had that this morning. Okay?
Yeah.
And that was
Yes, of
good.
course.
I don't have sugar every day.
Yeah.
I have sugar probably maybe twice a month.
Yeah.
I don't have sugar in my tea, my coffee. I don't need sugar in those things. So
Moderation.
Anything
Don't
done in
kill yourself.
moderation.
I mean, 'cause you're still living your life.
Because you
Yeah.
still have to live. So
Yeah.
anything in
Right.
moderation.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying not to live, but what I'm saying is don't go back to where
Same
you
lifestyle.
like we can't have a bamboo shack conch snack 4 times
So
a
the
week
No.
with
no.
mayo and
Extra
ketchup
hot sauce and
and
ketchup.
extra hot sauce. And no, we can't do that.
Mhm.
So if you're gonna treat yourself,
Mhm.
then do that. But yeah, you just can't. Yeah, you can't go back there.
As we are wrapping up today, listen, I know it's so much to say. I think a part 3 is coming. It's brewing for next year, God's willing, because we didn't finish for the year. We got all kind of different. We done booked out for the year, but we got to get y'all back. And when y'all come back, I scared, but I thinking about bringing a doctor on board. I scared. But
One
this
thing
doctor,
you
I
don't
want-
do is tell the doctor when you're doing anything other than what they say. You don't tell them that. You just don't.
Yeah.
I
They will
scared.
strongly advocate.
But
They
I am
strongly
thinking
advocate
about doing
against
that because
natural.
there are some things that these ladies know they've experienced as well, and then there are some things that you would want to hear from a medical professional,
Yeah.
right? So I'm going to pray about it because I don't want to cause any
He better have his
confusion.
own show.
And listen, anybody come correct too, because Jill might be called Dr. Jill be calling the show or what's up.
No.
No,
No.
that is not. So I agree out on that one. All right. So I want to thank you. Thank you, Marissa. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you
Jill.
for
Thank
having
you.
us. Thank you.
Again,
Thank
know
you.
that next time I'll be talking less and y'all talking more because it's y'all show. All right, but y'all have been marvelous. I know for a fact that you blessed so many people. I know that the nuggets were helpful and meaningful. And like I said and expressed in the first show, God is at work with both of you. You just say yes and you just take up the mantle and you go because the
Yes.
people of this country need voices like yourself to go forth and make it happen. The reason why I love both of you so much is because you ain't scared. You ain't scared.
Never
Like after you
scared.
done face that right there, you be like, okay, now come devil, see what you got to say. And nothing is better. And I said this before. You are more confident and courageous when you know what you know.
Mhm.
When you lack knowledge, then you can come with your tail behind your legs. But when you already have information and you've already proven it and you've already experienced it, then nothing can come your way. Nothing at all. And so that y'all are here, y'all are the ones that are going to push forward, the trendsetters, the ones who are going to make a difference for this country. We already know that. And we want to say thank you in advance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, if you need coaching in any area of your life, including premarital coaching, knowing how to restore your marriage, how to stand even when you feel abandoned, or how to build a relationship, please go to my website www.yourlanelifecoaching.com and schedule a booking. I would love to help you improve your life and your relationship. Your Lane Life Coaching is the name of the coaching business that I have. And even if as a someone who's experienced breast cancer, you may not necessarily call me because I don't know about breast cancer per se, but you might want to talk about how to help improve your scheduling and how to get back on course with your life and how to be more organized with what's going on with you, trying to get your life back. You need help with that. All right. I'm here to help you wherever you are to get to where you want to be. All right. So go on the website, www.yourlanelifecoaching.com and schedule an appointment. I will be more than happy to assist you, especially if you say that you heard this particular show. I would give you a discount off. Today's show was brought to you by Airborne Freight and Cargo Services, John Shoe Store and Accessories, Your Lane Life Coaching, Bahama Odds and Ends Party Supplies, Neutrogena distributed by Lowe's Wholesale, National Workers Cooperative Credit Union, and John's Careware. Thanks to my producer, Beats, holding it down for us. Showing us all our black seed oil. He will make sure at the end, y'all ain't
Shout
going
out.
nowhere until y'all get the
DJ
proper. Did y'all
Beats.
find it?
Yes, he
The
got it.
He got it. So you want to say it out loud? The brand. Go look for the
Oh,
brand. All right, and thank you to my continued Facebook audience who always keeping it lit. Like y'all just be having this hot. And I am grateful for you. Thank you to my first time listening audience. God bless you. May God continue to keep you. Thank you to I wouldn't say Mr. Williams, but should I use his professional? No, it ain't that serious.
Yes.
Okay. Well, say his name thoroughly and professional name for me, please.
The Honorable
The Honorable
Justice
Justice
Franklin K.
Franklin
M. Williams,
K.M.
KC.
Williams, KC. I don't remember all of that. Y'all know for a fact I don't remember all of that. Thank you, sir. Thank you for allowing this beautiful lady to be as vibrant as she is, and to honor you because of what you've done and how you've helped her. May God continue to bless you and your union. And thank you to Mr.
Darwin Dwight Maycock.
Darwin Dwight Maycock for
Yes.
just holding it down and for leaving the school to go get your wife, even though you don't have no transportation. You was gonna walk there. You had to, so I know you was gonna do it. But thank you so much for holding it down for her and for keeping the kids, you know, and for just understanding her in her time of need and for being just the husband that she's been needing in this time and season of her life. And may you continue to be understanding to her, you know, as she's going through this process. Continue to allow God to speak through you so that you could speak to her, because I know that there are times that women have moments. Women have moments. And so I pray your strength in this time, during this time. So thank you so much, sir. And so make y'all, for y'all who want to listen to this again, rebroadcast, go to Coach Trish Hannah on YouTube to watch all of the previous shows, and even this particular one will be on tomorrow, God's willing. All right, and please like and subscribe when you do watch it. So until next time, just before I go, let me just say next week we're gonna be talking about we're talking about budgeting. We're talking about budgeting. You know, like when people put the funds in the envelopes and all this other stuff. Listen, I had a list of people who
did that.
You did too? Yeah, man. But we have someone who's going to come in and she's going to talk to us about it. My mom loved this particular thing. She always telling me, and she has these papers and these books and these binders and all these different things, envelopes. This is how you do it, and you got to put it when you put your $10 there, then you put your $50 there. Yeah. And it actually works for her. This system is carrying on. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about that, and then this obviously is going to be not going to be a one-time show, because there are so many others that were recommended, and I want to give them a chance to speak as well. All right, say the name of the black seed.
So the name of the black seed oil that Dr. G uses is the Guru Nanda cold pressed black seed oil.
Say that again.
The Guru Nanda, GURUNANDA. It's cold pressed black seed oil.
All right. There you go. You can't say we ain't give y'all nothing. You can't say we ain't give y'all nothing. All right. So for more information about anything pertaining to the show, you can go ahead and head on to the Facebook page, Your Lane Life Coaching Facebook, or you can text the number 376-8689 if you want to sponsor the show. So until then, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a blessed Sunday, everyone.